Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Shells. Today, we are doing something kind of different than we've ever done before. We're going to talk about cookbooks that we love and pair them with a book, like a fiction book, that kind of matches what they are. So we've got a lot of delicious and interesting books to talk about. But first, what are you reading right now, Sarah?
So I just finished reading with my eyeballs, Starshipped by Cat Sebastian.
Oh, I started that, but I didn't get to it.
I didn't love it.
Okay, weird, because I love Cat Sebastian.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be so good
Yeah.
all day long. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I more or less enjoyed myself. But I think if this was about like a female lead, it would be considered women's fiction.
Oh.
That's
So it's like not romance enough.
It was not romance enough for me.
Okay.
And also, slight spoiler here, like they kind of wrapped everything up on the romance portion a good 60 pages before it ended.
No, I don't like that.
So on the page, and so I was like, why do I still have 60 pages left? Are they going to break up? They don't. And so
like a little bit of post.
Yeah, that's fine.
Happily ever after is fine, but
Yeah.
60 pages is a lot.
It was a lot. I kept being like, something big is left to happen.
Am I right that this is the first non-historical
Yes,
that
this
they
is
have
their-
written? Like
This
first contemporary.
is their first contemporary.
Okay.
And I personally feel like it showed.
Okay. Interesting.
I did like, so I keep comparing it to The Guncle. I don't know if you read that
Yeah,
one.
I really liked
And
that book.
I think,
yeah.
but I knew going into that book that was not like a romance. Like there was a romantic element, but it's kind of where The Guncle discusses grief. This one's more on anxiety.
Okay.
And so I found that as someone who has anxiety, like I found that very interesting. But again, I was like, well, I got into this to read a romance.
Yeah.
Not feel like I was being called out every 5 pages about my own anxiety.
Which like sometimes is like helpful when you like are reading about, your own things.
Yes.
I was going to say flaws, but it's not a flaw. It's not a
yeah,
flaw.
but no, I know what you mean though.
But
There's literally times I had to shut it and be like, shut up.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I'll still check it out because I the cover I love the cover of that
it's
one.
so good.
I love that. Like it's kind of like Lila Sage-ish.
Yes,
like
it's very similar.
it's an illustrated cover without being the same as literally every other illustrated
Yes.
cover.
So yes, I say it was still a good book. It's just not what I wanted to read.
Totally.
So if that's what you want to read, great.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend picking it up. The thing I'm listening to right now is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Oh.
Zach bought it on Audible.
I was going to say we do need to mention that is unfortunately an Audible exclusive. So there's no way, trust me, if we could get that audiobook, we would. I'm like looking at the camera because it's like everyone says it's the best audiobook.
Yes,
it's
and it
so
has
good,
been. And I personally am not an Audible user.
No.
For various reasons. But Zach bought it for like $3 for a month. Like even then he loses it. Like it's not his to keep. And so I'm currently signed into Zach's Amazon account.
Yeah.
So I can read it. Even though I'm usually logged into my father's Amazon account because he has Prime.
Are you have you seen the movie yet or are you gonna go see afterwards?
I'm gonna see it afterwards. Okay. We don't have any plans to see it.
But
that's the plan is to see it.
The movie looks really good too.
I heard too that you shouldn't watch the preview for the movie if you plan on reading the book.
Okay.
And as someone who's far enough into the book now, I agree.
Okay.
Something that should have been like a big big moment
is a little spoiled.
Is spoiled. It's in the trailer.
Okay. Movies. Awesome. I'll be excited to see what you think about that because like truly everyone, like if you ask people what like the top 5 audiobooks of all time is, it's going to be almost always on the list. And it's so annoying that it's an Audible exclusive. There's some Frida McFadden that's Audible or like that's Amazon Audible exclusive. So it's so annoying for libraries.
There's parts of Sarah J. Maas's series, the Throne of Glass series, that's Audible exclusive. You can get like the first like 4 or 5, and then you have to go over to Audible.
It is a bummer.
It's a bummer.
That'd be something I know would circulate like crazy.
Yes.
So
yeah. So that is what I'm reading or just got done reading.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost done with my audiobook and I just finished my print book. So an audiobook I'm listening to How to Commit a Post-Colonial Murder by I cannot remember the author's name, Nina McCongley. And the cover is so also really enticing. It's a really good cover. It's kind of it's low-key experimental. It's going to be a book that's not for everyone, and it's got some really heavy topics, including essay. So like, definitely read your trigger warnings. That might not be for you, but it is about these two Indian American girls who are I think it's like in the 90s.
Okay.
And their uncle comes to live with them. Their uncle's family comes to live with them from India, and then proceeds to abuse both the girls, and then they plan to murder him. Okay. So, and it kind of like crosses paths. Like they do talk a little bit about colonialism. There's like why I think it's kind of experimental is like there's just weird things like teen magazine quizzes every once in a while. It's just written kind of different, which I always appreciate. When there's something like a format or a way that I'm like, oh, this is an interesting way to tell a story. It took me a minute to get into it, but I think I really like it. And I think it's not got a high Goodreads rating, but I think it's one of those books that you're like, there are people giving it 5 stars and people giving it 2 stars. Yes. So I'm just like 30 minutes away from finishing that. And then I am going to read Adult Braces by Lindy West next, which is her newest memoir. There's a lot of internet discourse, if you are that side of the internet, about her relationship and about how it is how it's perceived in this whole memoir. Like she's canceled tour dates. It's a lot.
Wow.
Someone just really went after her on Threads and it just kind of spiraled. So I just want to know. I like Lindy West. I've read everything she's written. Shrill is not only a great book, but an incredible TV show.
She did Shit Actually. Is that Lindy West?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I really like all of her stuff. Mm-hmm. So I have no doubt I'll like this, but I'm just curious, why people are so upset about it,
jumping on
or
it
if they have people have actually. Have you read it before you're jumping on it?
Oh, I hate that.
And then. With my eyes, I just finished a book called Gunk, which the cover and the title really got me with this one. It is by Saba Sims, British. I love a British, domestic novel, which this is a very weird domestic novel. It's very gritty. And it's just about a couple who own a club. They break up. One of their employees comes in, gets pregnant by the ex-husband or the ex-lover, and then a weird family comes about through it. So it's a really interesting take on a modern family dynamic, on the difference between romantic love and the love of mothering and the love of friendships. So it's all the topics I do really like to read about.
Yeah, this sounds very book again.
So I really like that one, and but I just literally finished it yesterday, and I'm gonna read the advanced reader's copy of The Children by Melissa Albert, who wrote the Hazelwood series. It's her adult debut. Oh. And it is about, it's in that same vein of an author writes her children into the story, or an author has a story, and then you get the weird backstory. So what Starling House by Alex Harrow. I cannot remember this book by Sheena Ersall, which I love so much. That's the same. It's a weird, a book that's about an author writing a fantasy story, and then the fantasy comes into play basically is definitely bait for me. And I really liked the Hazelwood series. I haven't read any really much other than her stuff. I read Our Crooked Hearts too, I think. But anyways, so yeah, I was in transition.
Transition?
Yeah, transition. That's the clip they're going to pull
for
social media.
That's it.
Me doing something really weird. Anyways.
Usually they're a lot more informative. I hope that is the clip that they pull for social media. Just on Like a boomerang. Like those aren't things anymore, are they?
No.
Just doing it over
It's
and
all
over
good.
again.
It's all good.
Just dated myself.
Boomerang. Anyways. So I feel like spring is full of incredible releases.
Oh,
so I think we
yes.
just want to talk about a few of upcoming releases, just a few that we're excited about.
Yeah.
Instead of, even though I kind of talked about what I was reading next, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Who cares?
I was in transition.
Transition. Okay.
I won't do it again.
Darn. Okay. Well, I'll go first with what I'm excited about.
Mhm.
It's coming up. So both of mine are May releases. One was a bit of a gimme. The Tapestry of Fate by S.A. Chakrabarty.
Oh, yeah.
The next in the Yamina Al-Sarafi series.
Yes.
Plus, she's coming to speak.
For
So I can
Avid.
also plug Avid again. But that drops May 12th. And I love everything by S.A. Chakrabarty. So I'm sure I will love this book. And I know very little about it other than it's like a part of the Amina Al-Sarafi series.
I mean,
So I'm sure she's off on another adventure.
some type of adventure.
Yes.
I wonder if it's as thick, like if it's as long.
Oh, yeah,
or if
I
it's
don't know.
like
I'm
you know.
If it's anything like all of her books, it will be a tome.
Yeah.
Because like the whole City of Brass series
Is-
is big and long.
You've read all City of Brass?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love City of Brass.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I've just read Amina. So.
Yeah. No, highly recommend. I actually prefer City of Brass. I mean, Mina Al-Sarafi is fantastic, but I prefer her City of Brass. But also, it was done. I read it in like one sitting, like all 3 books. It was just like, this is so good. Let's pick up the next
The only
one.
way for me to read an actual
Yeah.
series is if they're all done. Just kidding, I won't.
No, you're not gonna finish it. Let's be real. And then the other one I'm really excited for comes out May 26th. It's called By the Bootstraps by Alexa Martin. It's a romance. It's a Western romance.
Oh yeah, I
also
can see that cover now.
Very
too.
cute cover, pink and blue
Mhm,
tone
mhm.
cover. Another like really nice illustrated one. For as much as I rant, they must have heard me because now we're getting much cuter illustrated
And,
covers.
like, just There's variety.
In variety.
That's
yes.
all I ask.
I think yes.
Yeah.
I came in. I've read other Alexa Martin. She has a whole sports romance that's called
Oh.
Fumbled. It's got like their faces
Yep.
really big on the front. And I loved her sports romance. So I'm very excited to see what she does with Western romance. This one's about a woman who believes in like the romance trope. If she just like does enough tropes, she'll fall in love. So she like leaves her city life and buys a ranch in Texas.
I like that.
I was like, oh, it's just a little different. And I trust Alexa Martin. Usually I'd be like, okay, that's some naive thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna trust Alexa Martin to like do it well.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've talked a little about this book when I was reading the advanced reader copy. Comes out the end of the April. It is called American Spirits by Anna Dorn. And really anything Anna Dorn writes, I will read. She wrote, my favorite of hers is Exalted, just a banger of a book. And then Perfume and Pain is what's her more popular quote unquote book. Which is also just so deeply messy and unhinged. American Spirits is not quite as messy, but it has a lot of those same elements that like why I like to read Anna Dorn's books. It gets, I mean, the easiest way to describe it is it is kind of Lana Del Rey fan fiction. It is about a musician named Blue who like is finally getting this critical acclaim in her career and is like going to go on tour, hires this nerdy assistant named Rose, and then the pandemic happens. So instead of going on tour, her and her producer, Sasha, who lots of people talk about how Blue and Sasha are like, will they, won't they? Are they a couple? Are they, what's happening between them? So her producer, Sasha, and her new assistant, Rose, all hole up in, like, the woods during the pandemic to make an album. But what they don't know is that Rose is, like, the creator of a huge, like, Reddit thread, like a subreddit all about, like, shipping Sasha and Blue. And so like clearly it gets messy.
Yeah.
And it's not like sometimes, pandemic novels, it's so weird to look back on it now. This one isn't, it doesn't focus on that much really.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just like a plot device really to put them in the woods together and mess stuff up. So I'm really excited for people to read that one. It'll be interesting because I do think it is a little bit more mainstream than any of her other
Mm-hmm.
books. Like, so I'll be curious to see what people think about that one. I
Yeah.
really liked it. And then another one that comes out at the end of April that I've had on hold forever is called Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't really want to talk too much about the plot because I think it will give it away, but it is a horror novel. It is like Japanese mythology. It's a dual timeline historical horror, which is one of my favorite like subgenres of
Yeah.
horror. And it is like a person in the present who blacks out and believes they killed their roommate, but doesn't remember why or how, and then like escapes to a familial home in Japan. The dual narrative is a samurai who inhabited that same home. It's time bending. It's like world
Oh,
swapping.
interesting.
It looks scary. I love I just love the concept, and so I'm really excited to read that
Yeah.
one. I think I have it on audio. So yeah,
Awesome.
those are my updates. Oh, I am going to talk about Yesteryear again really quick by Carol Claire Burke. I talked about it when I was reading the Advanced Reader Copy. It will be out by the time I believe this podcast is released. But it is about a trad wife influencer, and it's really interesting. It's getting so much press, like it's getting pushed pretty hard, and I cannot wait to see what people think about it because I found it fascinating. It was so interesting. It was so well written. It was such a takedown of trad wife culture, but like not in a mean way,
Oh.
in a really like interesting way. And so I will put that on people's radar. Again, it will be out by the time we talk about it, by the time you're hearing us talk about it. But if you don't have it on hold, I do recommend if you're interested in any type of internet culture at all.
Yeah.
So, which I clearly am.
So let's talk about cookbooks. These beautiful, beautiful cookbooks. So the first pairing, so I did these a little bit as like themed. So the first one, or the first two books, the pairing, is about memory, heritage, and legacy. The cookbook is called Praise Song for the Kitchen Ghosts by Crystal Wilkinson. She's a former poet laureate from Kentucky. And this cookbook is a little different because every chapter starts with an essay by her. And they're all about recipes and stories and memories of Black Appalachians. This is all the history of that specific culture with food and living in the mountains and all that sort of stuff. And I really love it. So it's essays. So some of it's interviews, some of it's fictional, some of it she did a lot of research for as well. But there are still 40 recipes in the book, including all these things that sound delicious. Corn pudding, chicken and dumplings, and then praise song biscuits, which is where it gets its name. And she kind of models it around being the keeper of her family stories and actually putting it into writing.
That's so cool.
For the first time. So I thought that was really interesting. I flipped through it myself. Everything, like I said, everything looks, I mean, that's going to be true across the board. Like everything looked delicious.
Yeah, I've definitely picked that cookbook up and looked through it because I was like, what is this? Like, what am I seeing here? Is this an essay book? Is it a cookbook? Like, what is it? I kind of secretly love a cookbook that you can read.
That you can read? See, normally the one I'm actually reading, I'm like, where are the recipes?
Get to it.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible when I actually just want to, like, can't find it. But I paired that book with a mystery, like a lighter mystery novel called The Kamigawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. So it's a translated book as well, so you can use it for your reading challenge if it sounds interesting to you. But basically, the thesis of the book, and it's a series, so it's multiple, I think they're on book 3 right now, is what's the one dish you do anything to taste one more time? And so basically, it's a father and daughter own a restaurant in Japan where they recreate your favorite meal, and then it unlocks memories, and they use them to solve a mystery for you. So I think I have not read it myself, but it's a more lighthearted mystery, but also still plays into that idea of memory and legacy and heritage. So I think that is why I put them together. Plus, there's a cute cat on the front of the book.
Mm-hmm. It's a cute cover.
It's a cute cover.
I can
They're
definitely
all
recognize
cute
it. I feel like we're talking about covers a lot today.
I know,
but,
like, don't have enough of them up here.
But it's funny because I've seen that book 5,000 times and I never really knew what it was about because I'm not a mystery reader. So I've never flipped over and been like, yeah, what's this about? But now I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's a really unique concept, and we know I love a unique concept.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
do. For my pairing, for this one specifically, I went pretty literal.
Mm-hmm.
So the two books I put together are Butter by Asako Yuzuki, also a translated book, so it would work for the reading challenge, and The Butter Book by Anna Stockwell.
I love it.
I was like, I tried to. It just was the most obvious.
I love it.
Connection.
Like, I love theme butter. Like, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me mad.
No. So the book Butter, not the cookbook, but the book is basically inspired by a real case of a convicted con woman and serial killer. Con woman and serial killer. The Konkatsu killer was what the nickname was. Basically, like someone looking to get married would like hunt single businessmen, lure them to her home, and then murder them. That's what she was doing. And the book follows a reporter who goes to meet her and then like tries to draw the story out of her, and in doing so like really learns all these recipes. It talks about food, like butter and buttered rice comes up a lot. I think that's part of the reason that they talk, that it's called Butter. I haven't read it myself, but it is on my list. But it looks really interesting, and I think it's going to be a really cool, like, takedown of, like, kind of like the misogyny and, like, body image and culture, but then also at the same time talking about all this really cool food, and I just, the combination seems really interesting to me. And I think, like, the reporter Rika, slowly kind of, like, realizes herself through, like, interviewing
a serial killer.
Cool. There's not a lot to say about the Butter book, but it is just like a celebration of butter. It's like history, how-to, recipes, all that stuff. All like one of those books that isn't just recipes.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we were talking about, but not essays. More like history, like, probably like, I'm sure the Butter catalog.
I was just going to say that.
I haven't read it. I haven't looked at it. This is still on order in our catalog, so I wasn't able to physically look at this book. But the copy that you see online, or like when you see the copy, it looks like a stick of butter, and the dust jacket is like the butter wrapper.
Oh, I love that.
So I assume our library edition will be like that, but it might not come across because it'll be shiny mylar. But like it's like that like matte, like has the butter wrapper on the cookbook.
I love that.
That's my very literal. They're not all that literal, but that's my first literal pairing.
I love it. You want to read 2 books about butter?
Here you go.
She's got you. So my next theme is like flavor, celebrity, and finding oneself. Hopefully I do it justice. So the fiction book I picked for this is Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev, who's great. I would say there's women's fiction. She also kind of falls into that. Is she romance? Is she women's fiction? But her ability to write about food is spectacular. I've read multiple of her books. It's just the richest, and especially it's Indian food, so it's all deep flavors, lots and lots of spices. And this book and the series here, so it's called Recipe for Persuasion. They're all retellings of Jane Austen novels. And this one is a second chance romance between chef Ashna Raji and her former high school love, Rico Silva, who went off to play professional soccer. And she's now a chef at her family's restaurant, and she goes on a celebrity cooking show to try to save her restaurant and prove to her mom that she can run the restaurant by herself. And of course, she gets paired with her former love.
Of course.
Of course.
Second chance romance.
Second chance romance. And it falls through the tropes you would expect from there.
I love second chance. One of my faves. Yeah.
This one works for me because they were like high school sweethearts. And that's like the one time second chance romance works for me because I was like, yeah, you're 17. I don't.
Yeah.
That very rarely do those end happily ever after. And this one has a good like why it didn't work miscommunication, but like because of parents, like parental stuff sort of thing. So. And then I paired that with the cookbook Cook Once, Eat Twice by Nadia Hussein. And I could have picked any book by Nadia. If you don't know her, you should really start watching The Great British Bake Off. She is probably easily one of the fan favorites from like all the seasons, including myself. I am a
same.
Huge...
I love Nadia.
And she was like very shy. I feel like when you first meet her on Great British Bake Off and not super confident in her skills, she not only goes on to win, sorry spoiler, but this was like eons ago.
It was a long time ago.
A long time ago. So she wins GBBO. And then goes and does like Netflix shows. This is like this is the newest one, which is why I picked it, but she's got like 5 or 6 cookbooks at this point. And she's just a delight. And everyone should pick up her cookbooks.
Yeah, I love her bakes.
Yes.
That was so British.
I love her bakes.
I love her bakes. But I do like her. She has her Netflix show. She has Nadia Cooks and Nadia Bakes, I'm pretty sure. And some of the stuff that she has on Nadia Bakes, I've tried 1 or 2, and she knows how to bake a delicious cake. I'll tell you that. Maybe that's why she won Great British Bake Off.
Maybe. I mean,
but her like her food recipes are really good too.
Yep, I've tried 2 or 3 of those because when I was watching Nadia Cooks, I would like write them down.
Yeah. So my next pairing is The Legendary Fry Bread Drive-In by Cynthia Lettich Smith and Turtle Island, which is the foods and traditions of Indigenous Peoples of North America by Sean Sherman. So The Legendary Fry Bread Drive-In is a YA book, but like I wouldn't let that dissuade you. Sometimes people, it's like it's just a really unique anthology. I do think it would probably fall under a magical realism category for the reading challenge. But it's about this legendary fry bread drive-in that kind of appears when people need it. So it's like all these interconnected stories. The drive-in makes its appearance in every single one. Like it's kind of like you walk down the road and it's just there. I read a few of the stories. I checked this book out because I was really curious, and they're all really beautifully written. Darcy Little Badger's story is about like a D&D group. Like it's so delightful, and I really like it. Just like is one of those books that each story like is interconnected in not a strong way. So it is like you can pick it up and put it down. Like, you don't have to like read it all the way through, which is sometimes really nice. But so far I've really loved reading it, and I think it's really beautiful. I love that it also has a ton of Indigenous authors because it's not the same person. It's just it's an anthology, so it's just like a bunch of different authors. And then I paired it with Turtle Island by Sean Sherman, which is like, for one, an absolutely gorgeous cookbook. I remember when this came in to the library, it was like I had to immediately look through it before I sent it out. Like, I didn't hold on to it, but like, when you are looking and labeling books as they come in, I was like, what is this gorgeous book? It's really, so Sean Sherman was like a chef in like high star restaurants, James Beard award winning stuff, and he realized that he was cooking a lot of European food and was like, wait a minute, like, what am I doing? And he went back and started like researching like how Indigenous food is cooked, and like how communities like work with the land to make different recipes. This book has modern and like traditional recipes in it, and it's separated by region, so you can go through each region, and everything in it looks delicious. Even like some of the traditional stuff that I wouldn't normally like I hadn't heard of
Yeah.
before. So I love that about this cookbook. It definitely like brought certain like ingredients that I was like, what is that I looked into? Because I did ultimately check it out, by the way. I didn't
Yeah.
just like hang on to this book. I did
It's mine
ultimately
now.
check it out. But I really just like, it is like one of those books that you can read too.
Yeah.
There's lots of history. I love the like connection to the land. Like if you like Robin Wall Kimmerer, you're gonna love this cookbook because the writing in this cookbook.
Yeah.
But the recipes are really great too. So yeah, I definitely recommend both of those.
Yeah. That actually leads really nicely into my last pick. So the two books I picked, and it's about community through food, is Maidan by Rose Previtt and Mara Stetz, and then the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. So the cookbook, Maidan or Medan or Maidan, it depends on what language, but it's the same word across multiple languages throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and Eastern Europe. Basically means like public space or community space. And the author of this cookbook, I read the whole intro. She got quite a hefty intro at the beginning, though, talks about how foodways have worked the same way. So a lot of these different cultures and different locations and areas are making, they may call it different things, but they're making these same food because they've formed these communities and these foodways throughout the centuries. And I found that so interesting. And then she has multiple restaurants in both DC and LA, Michelin-starred restaurants. But when she is of Lebanese and Italian descent. And when she decided to make her restaurant, she decided to take her and all her chefs back to, she went to like Tunisia and to these similar areas. And her big thing was to get into grandma's kitchen because like the restaurants in these areas weren't making this. But grandmas were, and so they brought them into their house and taught them all these recipes, and I just found that so interesting and so community forward. And also like everything in there looks absolutely delicious. I feel like we talk about like the recipes are just great, like it's great, but how we got to this cookbook is like just as interesting. I also, as I said before, I was like, usually I'm like, let's get to the recipes. So this was kind of nice to go through and actually like, read the intro that I'm sure they put tons of work into. And she also, she has such a like large cultural spread because her husband works for NPR and they ended up in Russia for like multiple years and stuff like that. So she was learning about that culture. She was like kind of a stay-at-home wife at that point. And so the inspiration for a lot of the stuff in this book comes from just all over the map, literally.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I paired that with one of my favorite books, an oldie but a goodie, because it's probably, 15 years old at this point. But if you haven't read it or heard of it, it's a epistolary novel, so it's told through letters, and it's set just after World War II. World War II has just ended, and a reporter, Juliet, gets a random letter from someone from Guernsey Island. Her name had somehow gotten inside a book flap, and he wanted more books by that author. Could you send some recommendations? And as they start corresponding, you find out, which was new to me when I read the book, that Guernsey Island, which is technically British, but like is right off the coast of France, was actually invaded by the Nazis and by Germany. And so they spent almost the entire length of World War II occupied by Nazi Germany. And this community comes together to kind of like thwart them in any way they can, and they almost get caught one time and they lie and say that they have it like a book club, and they all share this potato peel pie together. And so Juliet goes to the Guernsey Island and learns more about this community and what's going on, and I absolutely adore it. And the people, I love a good like quirky small town as well. And there's more to it than that. They're also like looking for someone who was captured by the Nazis, and they haven't heard from her since. So there's a lot going on there, but it's also a movie. So if you're like, nah, I don't want to feel like reading it, the movie is also really good.
Yeah, it was Netflix maybe?
Netflix, yes.
Yeah. I weirdly have not read that book, even though it's like, was very popular.
It was so popular at the time
when it first came out, and when the movie came out after a while after the book came out. It always has looked really good to me, though. I love an epistolary novel.
Yes,
because it's just a different form.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think people have feelings about epistolary novels, but I'm a big fan.
I think they can be done very poorly. I've read, so I understand people, but I was like, this is very well done.
This is it.
This is it. Read this one.
My next pairing also has an old book, so
Ooh, yay.
Equal. So I paired The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake by Amy Bender with Dory's Anytime Cakes by Dory Greenspan. I'm going to flip it and start talking about the cookbook this time because I love Dory Greenspan. I love this cookbook. I'm a baker more than a cook. Like, honestly, I can't really cook. I wish I could. Someday, maybe I'll learn. But I can bake. And I kind of fell out of it for a time when I lived at my old space. But then when I bought a house, I had a nice kitchen, and I just got back into baking again. And it's been so lovely. I started with Dory's cookies, but then quickly moved towards anything that Dory Greenspan had written because I really liked it. I love her introduction to this book. It's 100 recipes, 100 cakes, 100 recipes for happiness, because when it comes to happiness, you can always count on cake. And I agree. So I just think she's one of the goats, like, as when it comes to baking recipes. Her flavors are unique, but also traditional. So there's like traditional cakes in here, but there's also like something that would wow your relatives at a gathering, or your friends at a gathering. It's got bundt cakes, it's got sheet cakes, it's got layer cakes. So it really has everything in it. I really loved. I've only made one of the cakes recipes. I made more than one of her cookie recipes. I love her cookie recipes. So I am a cookie bar person. That's usually what I make over cakes. Yeah.
That's a take.
Cakes and pies, I just think I'm not, they're a little more challenging. And since I haven't, I used to bake a lot, and then I didn't for a while. Yeah. So getting back into it. But The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake by Amy Bender came out a while ago, and I will say this novel also is not for everyone, but I think if you like a quirky magical realism book, this is definitely for you. It's not Annie Hartnett who wrote the Unlikely Animals and The Road to Tender Hearts, but it's similar and that has quirky characters, and it's a family narrative. But basically it is about the main character. Her name is Rose, and when she's a young girl, she takes a bite of lemon cake that her mother has made, and she tastes her sadness basically, and her mother is no, I'm great, I'm fine, what are you talking about? But basically from then on, Rose realizes that when someone makes food, she can taste their feelings in the food that they've made. And so she kind of through this grows and learns there is a kind of a secret family history storyline as well about her father, which kind of doesn't explain, but also does bring into why Rose can taste feelings. But when I first read it, I loved it. It made me read more of Amy Bender's work. It was when I was first not first, but definitely discovering how much I liked magical realism. Yeah. And I think this is a good, beyond the obvious classics, the Latin America classics of magical realism, this is a good kind of starter one if you would fit for a touch of magic for the reading challenge. But I really loved this book. It made me I checked it out, and it makes me want to reread it, just when I was looking at it again, being oh, this was such a nice little delight. But it's weird and a little kooky, so if that's not for you, I understand. But as you know, it is most definitely for me.
I was gonna say little cookie.
A little kooky. So yeah, I think that was, I recommend all of these cookbooks. So, and these books.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Is it time?
It is.
It's time for the book bulletin.
We have a few things for the book bulletin. We'll start with the one that you care about more. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
On, the levels. Did you make it so I'm so excited? I listen.
No. I know.
Yes. Anyway,
we're teasing. ACOTAR.
Sarah J. Maas, who does the ACOTAR series, announced that there's two more books. They've been written.
They're ready.
They have release dates. We don't have titles yet.
But they have release dates.
Yes. So I was a really large ACOTAR fan. I've come to like middling, so I'm definitely still gonna read them.
I'm not a hater by
No.
any means. I think it's really interesting. I love the concept. I read the first book.
Yeah.
I didn't read past that.
Which is so funny because like
everyone says the first book is the worst of the series.
And that's what got me hooked. I was like, okay, it was okay. I'll pick up the second book. And then there's like a huge twist in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, girl, you got bars. Okay, whatever. But anyway, so 6 and 7. 6 is set to drop on October 27th, and then 7 on January 12th. So it's a pretty quick turnaround too. And what I've gleaned from the social medias is that they're almost meant to be read as like one giant book, which is why I think
they're so close.
As she essentially wrote it as one novel,
but didn't want to give us an 800-page book.
Yes, I think so.
Fantasy readers would read it.
I mean, yeah,
but,
and I think
or romantic fantasy. But
but yes, and just generally that like
they want to make money off of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was like, Sarah J. Maas readers are going to read whatever she drops, especially because like every book of hers is in the same universe and all this stuff. So I think I have not read all of her stuff either. So I was like, if you start pulling stuff from some of the other books, I'm gonna be so lost.
My guess is this sticks pretty.
I think so.
Close to. Which it's definitely, I would argue, her most popular series.
Yes.
Well-known series.
Yes.
I think a lot of people really like the Throne of Glass series.
Yes, there's definitely. I feel like there's definitely two camps. There's like the Throne of Glass people and the ACOTAR people.
Yeah. The book is not currently in our catalog yet. It is not on order. It will be.
Yes.
Obviously, we're gonna get it at the library.
I mean, I learned something new. Apparently, we generally don't put something in our catalog until it has a title, and right now, neither of these books has a title.
That actually makes sense.
Yes,
because I was like, what are you gonna put untitled?
I mean, yeah, ACOTAR number 6, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, we can order it, so I do know our catalogers are working diligently right now to potentially get that ordered quicker than they normally would. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's exciting. It's exciting book news.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's huge.
Anyways, this is like kind of in news, but we do always talk not nicely about Goodreads necessarily.
And it's not going to change today.
But we still do use it both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to say the evil has won when I'm talking about things like that, because there are things about Goodreads that just no other platform has, and that is why I don't use it exclusively, but that's why I still use Goodreads. But they introduced, after years of people asking, begging, and in fact, a DNF shelf.
Which is not what we asked for.
No.
I wanted to be able to say, reading, continue reading, finished, DNF.
Mm-hmm. That should be the option.
So instead, you have to create a whole DNF shelf.
No.
And also, authors can see that you've DNF'd it.
Oh,
they get notified.
I did not know that, and I don't love that.
No.
It's like when people tag authors in bad reviews. Rude. Just what's the point?
And I've seen a couple of things anecdotally from authors on social media, and they're like, luckily, especially popular, I get so much of that, it all comes out. It doesn't matter. I don't check any of that. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for maybe smaller authors or indie authors or first time authors that now you can see every time someone didn't finish your book.
And the worst part about DNF is it sounds there's not a difference between DNF and soft DNF.
Yes.
Which for me is very clear. there's lots of times I will put down a book and go back to it.
Yeah. Which I don't. But sometimes I'll DNF stuff because it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Not because it was a bad book. Yes. I was like, oh, this is not what I thought I was getting myself into. It's not the book I want to read.
Or as a mood reader.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
this is not what I want to read right now. Yeah, so they gave us something, but it didn't really give us what we wanted.
Yeah, not what we asked for. I love we is just
everyone agrees.
Everyone agrees.
I know they do.
Just trust us. And where are the half stars? I am now on multiple different reading platforms that can give me half stars. So don't tell me you can't do it.
And it's so important. It's
yes.
Because I give so many books 4 stars that were 3.5.
Yes. Or I'll give someone a 3, which then is not like not considered good anymore, but to me is like
so weird.
right.
It's a weird rating books is complicated.
It's
a whole. I feel like we do have in the works to do a whole podcast about book reviews and like misguided book
Yes.
reviews and just like so there'll be a whole conversation about that at some point. But yeah, just give us half stars, like just anything. That's
Storygraph, I think, gives us quarter stars.
I think they do.
Yes, and Pagebound does half stars, so it can be done.
It can be done. I still am really liking Pagebound.
I love.
I am going to give that
Pagebound.
like another shout out while we're talking about Goodreads. It's so millennial coded and I don't hate it. I just really like. I love the design. I love it does have the community, and if enough people that I followed on Goodreads moved over to Pagebound, I'd be done with Goodreads.
Oh, 100%.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
So hey everyone,
come
check out Pagebound.
Come on.
But there are certain like authors that I really like to follow on Goodreads that haven't that write reviews and book reviewers just haven't made their way quite over there yet. So
yes, I'm hoping they will, because I agree. I think if Pagebound can get robust enough in their community, I could easily get rid of Goodreads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Goodreads.
You beige nonsense.
Pagebound is not beige.
It's not. It's pink. Anyway.
So the last thing we're gonna talk about is an update from I think the last episode is when I talked about it. I talked about how I read a book called Shy Girl by Mia Ballard, and I genuinely didn't. I liked it just fine. It wasn't a great book. It had its flaws to me. I definitely did not clock it as being written by AI, which is what I talked about last time, which for me was...
We were still kind of on the fence about it. Like, that was,
yeah,
been,
like, I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it'd been called out, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe it was just, like, the advanced reader's copy. Like, the book wasn't actually... And I knew there were some allegations of, like, cover art theft.
And the cover did change.
It did. And so, like, it was, like, muddy. But in between recordings, it has now been pulled by one of the big, I think Hachette, I believe, but one of the big publishers. Like, it is the first novel or the first book that has been, like, pulled from publication because it has been written by AI, which accused of being written by AI because they say they have credible evidence.
Yes.
2 things of note here that I really think are important to talk about before, like, we just, like, dogpile on this author. 2 things of note. First of all, this is a self-published book, right?
Yes.
That gained traction and then was just scooped up by the publisher. How did no one, where were the edits? How did no one?
How did he get all the way to publication?
I think they were like, oh, we'll monetize this. And the author said that she had given it to a second reader and they must have used an AI, like they put it through an AI. Which, you know, like, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna, like, that's what you do when you're self-published. Like, you don't have an editor. Like,
right.
You don't have someone, like, you know, a quote-unquote editor.
Right.
But it's weird to me, like, that everyone is dogpiling on the author, why are we not talking about the publisher?
Yes.
Okay? Like, why are we not talking about how they didn't, like, make more, like, publishers are unprepared for this.
Yes.
And this shows it. And the other thing I want to talk about is I think it's worth mentioning that this is a woman of color and she is getting completely dogpiled on the internet. And that's why I'm like, it is the publisher's responsibility to, like, not, like, they let it go too far. And not that she has no fault either.
Yes.
But there's, like, lots of irons in the fire. And, like, the YouTube video that came out about it, like, when I had, you know, that was calling it out, like, 3-hour one. There's so many aspects to this one. And it just really really magnifies how big publishers are wholly unaware for AI, because, like, we've talked about, like, the romance novelist who wrote a bunch that is, like, on Kindle Unlimited. That's like you know, like, that's not necessarily the big publishers,
right?
Not to knock it, but like AI writers who are using AI to write novels are not getting published by the big publishers.
No.
But this was just a really popular book in indie circles. It was a horror novel, and it just kind of picked up speed, and they went with it, and I just don't think they really looked at it much.
And I can't believe that publishers aren't just like as the new norm, like running it through like AI
I know.
detection software. Like
It just really shows how they're not prepared for
Yeah.
like what is like how deeply, like we've talked about it so much about how AI is affecting publishing pretty negatively for the most
Mhm.
part, and this proves it, because like this woman's life is, as an author, is probably ruined.
Yeah.
And that like is a bummer. If it wasn't even I mean, like, like we don't know if
We don't-
if she
yeah.
hadn't, if she didn't know, if her editor didn't tell her that that's how he edited it. Like there were there should be more safeguards in place for this not to happen.
Yeah.
So don't be mean to this author. I will say that.
Just don't be mean.
Just don't be mean,
Just
but
don't be
like
mean.
I do think it's a really interesting case study in what
Mhm.
we're looking at for the future. There were a couple. The New York Times, I think, was the main article
That's the one I read.
that like broke. So we'll definitely link that in the comment, or in the
Show
show
notes.
notes comments. I'm talking about the internet too much. Check the comments for the
Show
recipe.
recipe.
Anyways, we'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah.
I think there's two articles the New York Times wrote about, one that is specifically about this, and then one that kind of talks a little bit more about how publishing is unprepared for
Yes.
this. So
Mhm.
I just think it was interesting that like in the month span of time between us recording the last podcast and this, it did actually
Get pulled.
and they said,
yeah.
the publisher said there's proof, but no one really,
They didn't say what.
they didn't say what. We
Yeah.
don't know what the proof is.
Yeah. Which I think is fueling the fire of all of this. Like,
All of it.
Of
Yeah.
all of it.
And like the YouTube video definitely lays out what their proof is.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate on every aspect. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know what to say other than AI is bad. That's also going to be a full quote for
Yeah.
social media. Anyways,
So embarrassing.
yeah. So I thought that's all we got today. So thanks for joining us, and we will be back next month.